I'm sitting here on my morning walk getting ready to start my writing day. All day today, Saturday, I get to write on my memoir, but I actually have it divided up into 4 tasks, and I'm going to tell you about what those are in just a moment. But first, I want to share with you what a spiritual journey writing a memoir is. I mentioned last week that I'd had a spiritual attack where I really felt the powers of darkness just envelop me in hatred, trying to paralyze me in my efforts. Well, I talked to my writing coach about that this week, and she gave me some really interesting advice. She said, get used to being spiritually attacked when you're writing. It is a powerful sign that you're doing the right thing. She said she believes the power of light owns the written word, and the power of dark wants to fight against that, wants to fight against when you're trying to tell the truth and grow and reach other people and help them grow. She said, honestly, if I hadn't been experiencing any of these spiritual attacks, she'd be worried. She'd be worried that maybe I wasn't really pursuing this with the full depth of my heart. And she said that the authors she works with, when they're really sincere and fully engaged and moving forward, they pretty much always get some opposition from those powers of darkness. So one of the things I'm really doing is spending a lot of time in prayer and trying to, ask God to strengthen me against those powers that would drag me down, that want to shut my voice down, that want to make me feel small and hated. And I've had some insights on that I want to share. And so in this video, I'm going to cover that, the insights I've had, and also a free writing exercise that my writing coach gave me to do that is really similar to an exercise I have given my clients in the past, and an exercise I also did with Jordan Peterson's self-authoring. I'm going to talk about that exercise and how it can really help rewire the brain for success. And that's something I'm doing. Another thing I want to talk about is free writing versus structure. It's something I'm struggling with, and also a 40-year-old secret that I found in my journal this week when I was transcribing old journals. So that's some of the things you can look forward to in today's episode. So all right, let's start with this whole spiritual attack thing. In prayer, as I've really been working through how to be more resilient and strong against the powers of darkness that would want to shut my voice down, I've done a lot of thinking about the little cracks in my system where I allow Satan to come in and tell me that I'm less than. And some of those cracks in the system are memories of rejection from other people. They're images of family, friends, and loved ones who have said or done hurtful things, and maybe they didn't even overthink what they were doing. They've probably moved on and forgotten all about it, but it's stuck in my mind of wow, they hate me, or wow, they think that I'm really stupid. And then that tape just rolls over and over of if I try to write a book, they will say this. If I try to put myself out there, they'll say that. They'll disagree with that. They'll think that I'm this. And it's all so negative. And if I allow myself to even go there, that's where Satan has me. He's like, yep, they're right. You have no right to tell your story. Everyone's going to think you're lying. Everyone's going to think that you're just trying to get attention. And, you're going to be exposed as being this horrible fraud. And it's those memories and that tape of people's rejection that rolls in my mind. So what I'm really doing in prayer is to ask God to fill me with love instead of fear, because as the scripture says, perfect love casts out all fear. If I have love for my fellow man, and if I have love for those who have hurt me in my past, then I can write without fear, write without worrying what they're going to say, what they're going to think. I can just write with courage and honesty. And I'm sorry about that airplane. It's such a classic vlog thing to say. Sorry about the airplane or the car, but really, that's a loud airplane. The other thing I'm really praying for is just to be more closer to the Holy Spirit, so that I'm not vulnerable to powers of darkness even coming near me, but just walking more closely in light and love and truth, with my eye firmly fixed on telling truth with compassion for the sake of God's glory, and that I can have that strength from Him, because God is stronger than Satan, and He can help me through this. So if you relate to any of this, drop a comment or hit a like. It helps me know that this is landing with you. And I would love to hear or to see that, so that I know that this message is resonating, if it is. The next thing I want to cover is this exercise that I'm going to be working on to help rewire my brain. And I've done these kinds of exercises so many times, but I feel like you have not whipped the dragon until it's dead. And my dragon is not dead yet. I still have self-doubt. I still have fear of what other people think. I still have worry about what people are going to say. So this free writing exercise I'm working on essentially has, it just has a few parts that go like this. What are some first memories where you felt these feelings you're feeling about being hated or being a failure? And if you were to stick with these conclusions, another question you write on, if you were to stick with these conclusions you draw, I'm a failure, or I'm irrelevant, or people think bad things about me. If you were to live in that, what would your life be like if you were to really take that on and make that your narrative? And then like really expand on that. What do you want, that kind of life? Is that what you want to manifest? Is that what you want to create? And then on the flip side, what is your vision for your life? What do you want to become? What are you reaching for? Okay, what if you lived that truth? What would your life be like if you lived in that truth every day? That empowering truth. So I want to spend some time in writing on that. Part of me says, oh, that's going to take time I really need to be drafting. But this is a spiritual journey for me, and for me to sit down and put truth on the page without fear, and to make that truth compassionate, filled with love for God and for mankind, I have to do my own work and clear the cookies out of the mind. So I look forward to doing that. The next thing I want to talk about is some of the struggles I'm having with free writing versus structure. And this is a classic pantsers versus plotters. And my book coach really wants me and has encouraged, and I have done it. I've made a storyboard for the memoir, and now she says start writing scenes that plug into that storyboard. Doesn't matter where you want to start. You can start with any scene that calls to you. Just start writing. I am having trouble with that. I have worked on a scene, but I feel like there's just so much clutter in my mind. There's so much I want to say, and I know most of it's not going to make it in the memoir. So today I'm going to do a hybrid. I'm going to work specifically on my storyboard, expanding my list of scenes. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to just do some free writing, as if I'm sitting down with a grandchild, just telling my story. So I'm going to kind of toggle between those two, and I don't know that very much of what I'm going to say in my free write will make it into my memoir, but I'm going to spend some time with that. Oh, I hate it when my eyes water. Walmart keeps substituting non-waterproof mascara, and so my eyes water and the mascara gets everywhere, and it's driving me crazy. Hopefully I can make it through. Okay, the last little piece I want to share is just in my journal this week that I was transcribing. Oh, there goes the eye watering. In my journal, I found a 40-year-old secret that I was like, what? I was so amazed to find this. It was that I had written a little life history when I was 10 years old, and I guess I had to ask my mom about it. And she told me that the doctor told her that I was going to be born deaf and blind, and I wasn't. So that was a really fun reveal. I don't know if it's going to make it into my memoir. Oh, my eyes are driving me crazy. I don't know if it's going to make it into my memoir or not, but it's just a super fun fact. So, okay, thanks so much for joining me and for supporting me on my journey. There goes the airplanes again. And I hope that if you are struggling, hang on, I'm going to pause that. Okay, I'm back for real. If you are struggling on your journey, find just one thing you can do to move forward today. There's so many things you could do to move forward on your writing, whether it's actually drafting, whether it's just writing down bullet points of memories, whether it is sitting in prayer to help strengthen you to have the guts to do this, whether it is to have a conversation with someone and talk about your thoughts, whatever that is, to do something today to move you forward. I have had the dreams and goals to write this memoir for many, many years, and many of my years have just spent reading books about writing or writing down bullet point memories, things like that. All of it adds up to being able to be where I am now, where I'm going, I'm ready to do this work in every way. So I want to really encourage you that no matter what you do, if you're making some movement forward, it does add up to momentum. If I'd done nothing all those years, I would have no knowledge about writing. I would have no lists or processes in my background, in my back pocket. So all that you do adds to that future ability. And I want to just point out that, like with my eyes watering and the airplanes that keep going past, that is just life. That's just the process, that you can let it stop you. You can let the computer crash or the bad day or the confusion of how to go forward. You can let that stop you, or you can say, I can still move forward. I can still do at least one thing. At least I can think of one thing to do. All right, so I hope that's encouraging to you. And again, I appreciate your support in being here with me on this crazy journey of trying to write a memoir from a messy life in a way that will inspire and teach other people and also bring peace to my soul. And I'll see you next time.